So tell me what it's been like the past 6 weeks.
Past 6 weeks, so rolling into the director's capacity, one of the best parts of this transition is having Mr. Benson, previous director. I was able to spend time with him, and so the month of June was budget, and typically that's a June, July process. We'll do amendments in June, we'll pass budget in July, but having his expertise and a school board that was very proactive with it, we really jumped in and we did both. We made our amendments and we approved a budget in July. In June. So June was packed. July was really just a good transition to spend time with principals, spend time in schools, with our central office staff, and instituting that entry plan that I had. And so it's been good. It's been a good start.
So tell me about that entry plan. What was it like? What was it about?
So first component of the entry plan was sit down with all of our departments and all of our administrators, and I had three basic questions. What does Lebanon Special do well? Where's an area we can grow? And lastly, how could I serve? And number one answer unanimously, what do we do well is we take care of our people. And so that's evident with our relationships and even with the local news and with our businesses. I think we've cultivated really good relationship.
Cool. So when it comes to starting the school year and being a director now, what was different than being a principal starting a school year?
So it's a different level of anticipation. So as a principal, you're preparing class rosters and you're getting teachers in their places and facility needs. And so as director, we're really preparing to make the right environment for our staff, for our teachers, buses, custodians. So we've got all of the HR side. And then there's the facility side. We had several projects in the works. So it's similar, but just on a bigger scale. And we had a great start. We kicked off the school year. We had a campaign, We Love Our Teachers in Wilson County, and that was a partnership with Wilson County and the Chamber. And so they were there to greet our teachers that first back to school, and they were cheering them on. And it was that first day back when we have all the staff. It's really special because you can just feel that energy that they have and how excited they are to see their kids. So it's been busy, but good.
So tell me, is LSSD short of teachers this year? And if so, what are you doing about it?
Sure. So that's one of those that's going to ebb and flow. If you'd asked me that question 4 or 5 days ago, I'd have said we're in good shape. We've had some situations, and a couple of them are medical, and unbeknownst, and it's not ill will or anything on anyone's part. They've just vacancies have popped up, and we had one growth position that popped up. So what we do is we post, and we're having to get creative, and where we're really trying to tap into is our student teachers that are on the tail end of their program. We've had them with us, and so MTSU, Cumberland, Lipscomb, that's where we're reaching out at this point. So we have good leads, and hopefully we'll be at capacity.
Did the board increase the salaries for teachers this year?
We did 3% for our certified. We did 4% for our classified, and then our administrators, they have a supplement scale, and they got 1%, which they get a step and that percentage. The big thing that really brag on our board is insurance went up 5%, and the board absorbed that cost into the budget. So we brag, 86% of our budget goes to our people, and that's the priority. So that we're very fortunate.
Now, bus drivers, how are they going? How many bus drivers are you missing, or are you short at all?
So let's say you can never have enough. That would be a good way to put it. We are currently staffed to where our transportation director and some of our sub drivers aren't driving the roads. But just like this morning, we had a teacher that wasn't feeling well. We don't have all the backups we would like to have, so he had to jump on and drive the bus. So we've upped the bus pay, which is $100 a day for bus drivers. And if you're interested, have a background, or just feel like that's the way you want to serve, call the front office. Miss Wendy will direct you to Mr. Ashley. We'll get you going.
Now, is this something that has become a priority of yours and the board's, or was it something that Mr. Benson did and you've just kept it up?
Mr. Benson started this, and our transportation director, Mr. Ashley, he is passionate about his department and taking care of the bus drivers. And so when we talked about having this need, our board jumped in and said, well, let's make it worth their time and see if that helps. And so it's been a very good collaborative effort. So yeah, Mr. Benson started it. I'm gonna keep that ball rolling though.
Okay, so what other policies or procedures have you either, I guess you would recommend it to the board? Which ones have you come up with that you want to recommend?
So at this time of year, primarily, we're going to take last year's legislative policies, and so most of it is not necessarily dictated from me, but we'll work in the new laws and we figure out how they apply and how we implement those. We have obviously had a significant push with our safety. That's never been lacking, but re-emphasizing, make sure we know what our plans are. Classroom doors closed and locked, that's been one of those that we've debated because it's not convenient, but it's safe. So we've really talked on those pieces, our social emotional side, supporting our students and our families. We've added several positions for that. We've got a behavior team essentially that's working with each school. We took some ESSER funds that was able to get us an additional guidance counselor that's going to rotate through each school. So lots of things are in the works and have gotten started. Made my rounds this morning. That's, if you said what it looks like for the first week and a half, as much time as I can spend in our schools. I have familiarity with Coles Ferry, so I've enjoyed getting to hit Byers Down, all the other schools. So it's been good.
Now, a recent law has come down about grades being on a 10-point system. Why did, even though it was written for high schools, some districts are implementing that in younger grades, why did LSSD decide not to do that?
Sure, good question. We did a little research, and most of the districts that went ahead and implemented were K-12, so for consistency's sake, and it's one of those you had the option within that law to stay with your current scale, but on the tail end you'd have to adapt it to 10-point. We didn't see the need and cause any confusion. It's established and we'd sent that information out. So basically that's what it was.
So the district has 7 schools, is that correct?
Correct, yes ma'am.
What goal do you have for those 7 schools to become equal with each other as far as quality and the educational levels?
Okay, quality of instruction. So when we talk about the program that we offer, our mission is committed to a community of excellence. Community is the key term, and so when we talk about community, we're very collaborative. Having 7 schools allows us to do things bigger districts can't do. For instance, we met the other day, we had a couple of items come through. We needed all the principals, so we were able to, hey, let's talk, and we did it through Zoom, so they didn't have to leave their building. But for our goals, obviously for our growth scale, which is based off our test scores, we'd like to be a level 5. We want to be an exemplary district, and we have school systems. And if we had this interview here in a few days, because our TVOS, which is our growth through TCAP, we've received those through the district, but we can't share it just yet, but we're really excited. We're really excited. So when we get the green light, you'll be hearing from me, because our teachers deserve and our families to know how hard they worked last year paid off, and we're going to get to show that very soon. And that is, every school has felt the benefit of that.
So do you think 7 is a comfortable number at this point? I know the district's probably going to have to build more schools, but right now you've got 7. Is that comfortable for a district this size?
It's comfortable. We have 4,226 students, and that's going to ebb and flow over the next few weeks. What we having Jones Brummett built last year has freed up some space in some buildings. So our next step would be to look at our zoning and say, is this the most efficient? And really, that's not going to apply to what we currently have. We don't want to move anybody unnecessarily. But some of these larger new developments, where's a school that's got a little space that they can land in? So that would be step 1. And of course, down the road, purchase some land. But at this moment, and once again, this is the ebb and flow, we're looking, it would be an elementary for our next build, just based off of what our data is showing, and then eventually a middle school, which we have a site for that currently with Jones Brummett.
How do you work with developers and landowners as a director? I know the board has to approve land, but how do you work with the developers and landowners in trying to get some land?
That is, it's a unique challenge, especially for a city school district. Our boundaries lie within a fairly radius-wise small. So property is a commodity, and we also want to make sure that we're a good neighbor. So we have, our board is involved in that process, and they typically start the initial, let's see what's available, what's coming in, And so developers, that's meeting with city planners. I've got a big map. It'll take up half this room that's got all the things that are either in process, in construction, or they've petitioned to start building. And so we've got two that we've got our eyes on with those. And it's having really good communication. And thankfully, we're in a place where that happens.
SROs, we talked about safety. Do you have them in the schools? Okay.
Yep.
So something you work with the sheriff's office, is that right?
So we're going to talk about highlights of Wilson County or Lebanon Special in general, but our partnership with the Wilson County Sheriff's Office and our Lebanon Police Department, they've already given us sort of an outline of what it looks like if there's scenarios where they're needed. But we've had SROs in our buildings for, I don't want to put a number of years, but that's in each building. They're an integral part, and we consider them faculty. I mean, basically, they have an educational component, but really they're just a good role model of and building that community with our families.
So what can you tell the parents about yourself as director versus being a principal?
So my servant leadership is my primary. I'm a coach at heart, and that's how I got into, I wanted to be an English teacher because I loved my English teacher growing up. Miss Johnson and Miss Cantrell, they opened the world to me. And so when I got to college, become a teacher, eventually landed in a coaching role, and seeing that opportunity to fire kids up and give them an extra reason. So what they would know about me is I'm passionate about our district, and I want it to be a success and to thrive. That's our ultimate goal. And we talk to our staff here. We want school to be the best part of a kid's day, whether they need it or not. Some kids really, really need it. Some, they've got lots of support and help, but if they don't, we want to take care of it. And there's some things we need for that. They've got to be rested, they've got to be fed, they've got to feel safe. Rest, if they need it, we'll provide it. Food, we've got that as well. And the safety, we get those three things, then we can provide good instruction. And we've got good people for that.
The food, I know you have breakfast and lunch within the district. Breakfast is free. Why is that? Why have you had breakfast free this year for the past 8 years?
So it's a federal program, and there's some nuances to that in that it's for students that maybe qualify for free and reduced, but there's some grant opportunities within it. So our food services, Angie Ballard is our cafeteria director, and she's a guru with grants and making sure that we feed students. And so this was a program she started, and it's probably been in action at least 10 years. And so it's just what we do as far as details go. But it's in the classroom, so regardless of what time you get to school, you go in, you've got your choice to pick from. I think this morning they had banana bread or cereal was your option. And then lunch, of course, we had to go up $1. I mean, everything has increased, and we felt that there. So.
Do you still have a backpack program?
We do. Hey, that's an exciting part. We met with Emmanuel Baptist Church. They do a big push each year to provide funds for our backpack program. And Second Harvest is where the food comes from. But Emmanuel Baptist provided a check for $22,000 to Lebanon Special School District and Wilson County Schools to cover our backpack program, which if you've ever been in a school, those volunteers come from the community. They pack all those bags, and kids take them home. It's good stuff.
Cool. All right, last question. Give me your history. You're from Wilson County?
Wilson County. I'm a Watertown graduate. Went from Watertown to Western Kentucky University. Got a major in English and Allied Language Arts. Started teaching at Gallatin High School, English, coached cross-country track. From there, got my master's while I was got my master's at Cumberland, and landed an assistant principal role in Wilson County at LZ Patton. Did that for 3 years. Did an assistant principal AD role at Lebanon High School for 1 year. Intended to stay at Lebanon High School forever. That was the plan. But then Coles Ferry opened, and so was at Coles Ferry for 10 years. And honestly, Coles Ferry's where I intended, and then this opened, and I just felt that call to serve. And so
do you see yourself getting a doctorate anytime in the future?
So I've got 2 children. I've got a junior and a 6th grade middle schooler, and so I'm not going to say no, but those are going to be my priorities: taking care of Lebanon Special, taking care of my family, and then we'll see. I wouldn't say no, but I'm also one, I'm never going to wait to learn something. if there's something coming down, or there's a class I can attend, or an in-service or a conference, I'm an avid, have books everywhere.
Sorry. So tell me, this is the last question, I promise. What have you learned?
What have I learned? Oh goodness, that we could spend a good deal of time on the different components, but budget has been huge, and I've really enjoyed the different components. It's really eye-opening to see how well we stretch a dollar to take care of our students. There is no fluff. There's no, it is an accounting down to the nickel, dime, penny to take care of kids and families. I've really enjoyed the different aspects. Today, I'm meeting with you today, and then I'll visit schools, and then I've got a planning meeting with city planners this afternoon. So it's a variety of things to jump into and be a part of, and that's exciting.